When Sally went downstairs, she almost fell back in shock to see Bella sitting in Alan's lap. She felt so foolish for believing his lies. "Oh, we broke your heart?" Sally started to walk away, but Alan pushed Bella aside and went after Sally, gently grabbing her wrist. "Alan, what is wrong with you? What do you think I am? Some toy for you to play with? I don't want you coming near me again." "Sally, you need to listen to me." "No, she doesn't, you jerk." And with that, Bella attacked him. Sally tried to pull her away, and then Bella attacked her. "What is going on here?" Sally turned around in horror to see her dad, and he looked really mad. "Sir, this was my fault, not hers. Oh, is that so? Then you will be marrying my daughter next week. I'll talk to your father tonight. Sally, leave my house. Now." Sally decided she couldn't hold it any longer. "I've been waiting for you, Mr. Charles, because there's something I need to—" "I don't want to hear another word. Leave, please. Leave my house." "No, you need to listen to me. I'm your—" Just then, they all heard a loud voice from the hall. "Is Sally here? I need to see Sally, please." The door opened and a really handsome boy walked in. His eyes instantly met Sally's across the room. She wondered who he was, while he was thinking he'd never seen anyone more beautiful in his life. Mr. Charles walked up to the boy and hugged him. "Oh, Jake, this is so wonderful. I had no idea you were in town." "It's good to see you, Uncle Charles. Dad and I had to come for business suddenly, and we're staying at a hotel for a few days." "At a hotel? Of course not. You'll be staying here with us." Just then, an older gentleman walked in, and he and Mr. Charles hugged. They were good old friends. All the drama happening before was forgotten as Mr. Charles led his friend to the other room, and everyone else followed. But Jake stayed behind with Sally. "You're Sally, right? I was looking for you." Yes, I am. And why?" Jake handed Sally her wallet, saying he'd found it outside by the gate. Sally thanked him, and as he was leaving, he suddenly turned around. "I was looking for your ID, and I found the letter inside. I'm sorry, I really wasn't snooping, but I did read the letter. Are you Mr. Charles's daughter? Does he know?" Sally had kept a copy of the letter with her in the wallet. No, please, don't say a word. No one here knows. They just know me as Cynthia's babysitter. I've been trying to find the right time to tell him, but I haven't yet. Can you please keep it to yourself?" "Don't worry, Sally. Your secret's safe with me." Just then, Alan barged into the room. "Sally, are you He stopped short when he saw Jake and Sally standing so close. "What's going on here?" "That's none of your business, Alan. Please, just go back to Bella and leave me alone." "Fine, whatever." Alan stormed off, and Sally quickly left the room too. As she ran out, Jake bent down and picked up an earring Sally was wearing. He smiled and put it in his pocket. The next day, Sally was in the garden reading a book, and Jake was really happy to catch her alone. I just came by to return this earring. I believe it's yours?" "How many times are you going to come to me with lost things?" "Wow, was that your thank you? Why do you keep losing your things? Sorry to bother you." As he got up to leave, Sally suddenly took his hand and his heart skipped a beat. "I'm sorry, I should have just said thank you. Would you like to go with me for a walk to the lake?" "Sure, but what about your boyfriend?" "He's not my boyfriend. He's nobody. So, are you coming or not?" Jake smiled and nodded, and the two walked away. Sally thought to herself, he might help her forget that stupid Alan. Cynthia's mom was watching the two of them from a window, and she turned away with a disgusted face. "This Sally is a very cunning, ill-mannered girl. One day she's running after our Alan. The next she's trying to trap Jake. She's clearly a gold digger." "She seems like a lovely girl to me. And you don't sound very nice when you're gossiping about other people. Don't do it with me, please." And with that, Mr. Charles left the room. Bella and Alan were also walking outside when they spotted Sally and Jake from a distance. Alan felt crazy jealous when he saw them holding hands. He started walking back towards them angrily, but Bella suddenly stepped in his way and pushed him back. "What do you think you're doing, Alan? Do you need me to remind you of the agreement between our families? Want to talk to my mother again?" Alan felt furious, but he turned around abruptly and stormed off to the house, thinking how he'd like to punch that Jake. Later that night, Sally heard a knock on her door. The minute she opened it, Bella pounced on her and pinned her down to the ground. "I know what you're trying to do, Sally. I'm a girl like you. I know all your games." Sally pushed her off and leapt to her feet. "What are you talking about, you psycho?" "I know you're just flirting with Jake to make Alan jealous." "Oh, is that so? Well, maybe I am, and I hope it's working. In your dreams, witch. You'll never get Alan, so stop acting so desperate. I swear if my stupid sister wasn't in love with you, I'd have your butt kicked out this second. Bella, I'm just tired of you acting like a big baby. Just get out before I punch your stupid face. I'm watching you, Sally. Don't cross me. Bella walked out and Sally slammed the door hard behind her. But as Bella walked away, she looked down at Sally's wallet that she'd sneaked out as she left the room. Time to find out more about this stupid witch. As she went through her stuff, she came across the letter. Her eyes flew wide open in shock. The next morning when Sally went down for breakfast, Jake was waiting for her in the hall. But just then, Alan came forward and gently pushed him away. No one really wants you here, man. When are you leaving? What's your problem? I'm here as a guest, and I think Sally wants me here. Well, Sally's just a worker here, not the owner of the house. She doesn't decide anything. You're not the owner here either. And what do you mean, just a worker? Just a worker? Like a useless maid or something. Did you just call Sally useless? And with that, Jake shoved Alan roughly. Alan lost his temper and punched Jake in the face. Alan, stop it! What's wrong with you? Just then Bella came running down the staircase. Stop fighting over this stupid bimbo. Look what I have here. It's a letter saying Sally was pregnant and had a miscarriage. God, you disgust me, Sally. Sally stared at Bella in complete shock. How did she have the letter? And was Bella so dumb that she thought Charles was Sally's ex and not her dad? What? When? How? Aren't you too young for that? Sally had no choice but to pretend it was true. She leapt forward and snatched the letter from Bella. Well, it happened. And it's no one's business but mine. I always told you she was rotten, babe. Just shameless. Alan stared at Sally in shock, then turned around and left, with Bella running after him. I can't believe she stole your letter, but it's good she didn't figure out the truth. And how dare that Alan call you useless? At least we're rid of him. He won't bother us anymore. Us? What are you talking about? Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I just thought maybe we... There is no we or us. I just want everyone to leave me alone. And with that, Sally ran up to her room while Jake blinked away his tears furiously. Be a man, Jake. There's no such thing as love at first sight. She doesn't love you, and that's that. Meanwhile, Sally was furiously pacing in her room, thinking she would just tell everyone the truth tonight. She couldn't deal with all this anymore. Alan was sulking on the bench outside while Bella was going on and on about Sally. Suddenly, he turned to Bella and said, Let's have our engagement party tonight. What are we waiting for? Tonight? But what about all the preparations? I don't even have anything to wear. I'll get you a dress. And I'm sure your parents will be happy to take care of everything else. I want to do it tonight, Bella. Bella looked at him and then shrieked in excitement and went running inside. Mom, Dad, Alan and I are getting engaged tonight. Get the freaking party started. Sally looked at her from upstairs in shock. Alan was getting engaged? Tonight? Alan got a dress for Bella as promised and handed it to her maid. Then he hesitantly walked over to Sally's door and almost knocked. But then he just put the box outside and left. A few moments later, Sally opened the door and nearly tripped over the large box. She carried it in and saw a gorgeous dress inside, and a note fell out. I'm sorry about all this. You truly deserve someone better. Alan. He's saying sorry with a dress for his freaking engagement party? This boy is so confusing. Later that evening, when Sally went down for the party, Jake immediately walked over to her. Hey, listen, I'm really sorry about this morning. I didn't mean to. Just then, Sally spotted Alan looking at her, and she hushed Jake and pulled him in for a kiss. When she stepped away, she saw Alan looked furious. Suddenly, he pulled Bella close and started kissing her. Sally turned around and walked out with Jake to the garden. She didn't even want to see their stupid engagement. After the party was over, Sally marched over to the library determined to tell her dad the truth. But when she entered, she only found Cynthia's mom there. Oh, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to talk to you. About what? About you staying here. After finding out about your disgusting past, I'd love to send you packing. But since Cynthia loves you so much, God knows why, we can't let you go yet. So you'll be moving to the attic and a guard will be assigned to watch you at all times. Because we simply don't trust you. You can't do that. I'm not your prisoner. Well, Actually, I can. And that boy Jake? Leave him alone, Sally. His family is respectful, and they won't accept some gold digger as his girlfriend. So save yourself the heartache. And then Sally lost it. You know what, Mrs. Charles? I'm just sick of your nonsense. I love Cynthia, but even she can't convince me to stay here another minute. I'm done with all of you, and I'm leaving right now. As she turned to leave, she bumped into her dad, and she just brushed past him. Sally, wait. But she was stopping for no one now. Sally headed straight for the front door, and when she opened it, she almost fell back in shock. Mom? Sally flung herself in Mom's arms, and just then, her dad came running behind her. When he saw Sally's mom, he froze in shock. Laura, is that really you? And you're Sally's mom? Is she my daughter? No, she's not your daughter. She's my daughter, and I'm here to take her back. As Mom took Sally's arm and started walking away, Dad blocked her. You told me you had a miscarriage. You lied to me. So what if I did? If I told you the truth, what would you have done? Would you have left your wealth and your family and married a kitchen maid? I don't think so. Not when you could have had a millionaire wife. No, that's not true. But it is, Mr. Charles. Or should I say Dad? I've lived with you people for weeks now, and you're all so shallow. And you think everyone else only cares about money too. I made a big mistake looking for you. Sally, please don't say that. And I'm so sorry, Laura. I should have taken a stand for you. It wasn't about money. We were just so young, and I was weak in front of my family. But I swear, not a day has gone by when I haven't thought about you. Not a single day. Just then, Cynthia's mom pulled him by the back of his coat. Oh my God, you stupid maid. We decided that you'd stay away forever. We didn't decide anything. You threatened me. I disappeared for my safety and my child's. You did what? Well, Charles, someone had to save you from your stupidity. We couldn't have you running away with some bimbo maid. And I would do the same all over again. With that, she lunged towards Laura, but Sally stepped in and pushed her away. Don't you dare touch my mom. Alan, Bella, and Jake had also come running into the hall, staring at the whole thing in shock. Charles, are you going to just stand there and watch? Are you going to choose a maid over me? A sophisticated millionaire? Charles looked at her and suddenly took Laura's hand. I think I am. I don't love you, and your millions can't buy me happiness. I'm not making the same mistake again. Cynthia's mom screamed with rage and stormed off to her room. Just then, Alan turned to Bella and took the ring off his finger. Bella, I'm sorry. I can't marry you. We both know we're doing this for all the wrong reasons. My heart belongs to someone else. Bella gave him a hard slap on the face and stormed off after her mom. As Mom and Dad both hugged Sally, she suddenly spotted Jake leaving and ran out after him. Jake, please wait. Sally, I know you don't love me, and it's okay, really. I just hope that Alan deserves you. He kissed her on the cheek and left. Sally turned around to see Alan standing behind her. You know, I'm still mad at you, like really mad at you. You were awful to me and said things that hurt me. I know. My anger and jealousy drove me to do some really stupid things. The truth is, I fell in love with you from the first moment you smacked me with that bat. I love you, Sally, and I'm really sorry. I promise. I'll make it up to you, if you let me. Sally walked up to him, looked deep into his warm hazel eyes, and pulled him in for the most magical kiss. Well, Mrs. Charles and Bella moved out for good, but Cynthia refused to go with them. She was all too happy to find out that Sally was her half-sister. Sally and her mom moved in with her dad, and the house was filled with love and laughter always.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be?
I'm Marianne from a small town in Austria. A few years ago, I accidentally discovered that I'm adopted, and my dad doesn't know I know. Since then, all I've wanted is to find my real parents. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I never knew my mom, but I grew up with the most amazing dad. He worked as a carpenter, and even though we never had much money, I had everything I needed. And what I needed most were books. Dad would read to me every night, and I became obsessed. When I joined school and discovered the library, I felt like I'd gone to heaven. And I always preferred my friends from stories over real people. Once in 6th grade, I needed to use the dictionary, so I went to Dad's room and climbed a stool to take it down from the shelf. Just then, the stool under me wobbled, and I went crashing to the floor with some books. As I started picking everything up, I saw something that left me shook. It was a picture of a couple holding a baby, and the woman looked exactly like me. She had to be my mom, and the man next to her was my real dad? I turned the picture over, and all it said was, Vienna 2005. That was my birth year. Were my real parents in Vienna? I snuck the picture into my pocket. Dad had kept it a secret, and I had to know why. I was waiting to confront Dad that evening, but he didn't come home. Hours passed, and he wouldn't even pick up his phone. Just then, there was a loud knock on the door, and it was Dad's friends from work, bringing him on a wheelchair. Oh my God! Dad, what happened? He'd had a terrible fall at work and wasn't allowed to walk for months. And even after he fully recovered, he had a permanent limp now. I put aside all thoughts of confronting him about my real parents. I didn't want to make things harder for him. Once in the 8th grade, I'd gone with Dad to the market when suddenly he got a cramp in his leg and lost his balance. He went crashing straight into a wealthy-looking man who in turn fell onto a food seller's stall, bringing down the whole thing with him. As I helped Dad up, the wealthy man turned to him furiously.
You blind, ignorant man. Look what you've done. My suit is ruined. Do you know what it costs? More than your house, I'm sure.
Don't talk to my father like that. He didn't do it intentionally. He has an injured leg.
So why is this cripple going around causing trouble for everyone else? I want the money for my suit.
You may have all the wealth in the world, sir, but you certainly don't have any compassion. My father's ailments is something he can't help. But what's your excuse for your cold, unfeeling, dead heart?
Hey, kid, just shut up and...
But just then, a rich-looking lady stepped forward.
Don't talk like that to the child.
Will this solve your problem? She waved a thick bundle of cash in his face. In 2 seconds, the man's anger was gone. The rich lady even gave money to the stall owner, and she offered to take me and Dad home. We invited her in, and soon after, she said something completely unexpected. I'm so impressed with you, Marianne. And this might sound strange, but would you like to come live with me in Vienna? I would love to send you to a really good school. Vienna? That's where my real parents were from. This was my chance to look for them. She even said she'd hire Dad as a handyman on her estate. I was really eager to go, and within a week, we'd packed up our lives and moved. The lady's estate was 5 times larger than my school, and Dad and I were given a small cottage to live in. And just a few days later, the lady told me I'd be joining her daughter's school. On my first day, as I walked up to the lady's car, a girl suddenly pushed me aside.
Ew, maid. Where do you think you're going?
Go clean something. Where are your manners, Lisa? This is the amazing girl I told you about, and I'd like you two to be friends.
Oh, she's your charity case?
She looks like her only friends would be cows and baby goats. And what is so distasteful about being friends with such lovely creatures, may I ask? No. You may not ask me anything. Who talks like that, freak? She got in and slammed the door shut. I just stayed silent during the ride, but then suddenly, Lisa made the driver stop. I'm not gonna be seen with you. You can walk the last few blocks. She pushed me out and drove off. What a witch! Just as I was crossing the road, a sports car came speeding and stopped inches away from me. A cute boy stepped out from the back seat and shouted,
Hey, watch where you're going, loser.
Wow, who were these people? Turns out the jerk was in my class along with Lisa. I could see them all looking me up and down, but I just ignored them. Later at recess, I sat alone reading. The boy took a seat at my table with his friends behind him.
I don't think I introduced myself before. I'm Vincent. What's your name?
You can call me whatever you like. After all, what's in a name?
Huh? What are you saying?
Would a rose smell less sweet if it was named garbage? Would a fire not burn us if it was called a flower? Would I be less annoyed by you if my name wasn't Marianne? The answer is no.
Why are you talking like that, weirdo? So, your name's Marianne? That's kind of pretty.
You don't need to remember it. I don't think we'll have much to do with each other. And with that, I just left.
Aw, poor Vincent. How does it feel to be rejected by a girl? Oh, please. I just need a little time with her, and she'll be head over heels in love. I can work my magic on any girl. Well, I'm not so sure about this one. Challenge accepted. It was no surprise that Vincent and Lisa were best friends, and their gang was the meanest bunch of kids around. I'd see them picking on smaller kids at recess or poking fun at their classmates. They didn't even spare the teachers. So I was horrified when the physics teacher announced that I'd be paired with Vincent for a project. But he looked delighted. I tried ignoring him and was reading the science book to figure out something when suddenly he snatched it from me. Why are you always staring at a book when you could be looking at more beautiful things? Like me. I don't have time for your nonsense, Vincent. Give that back. Okay, but only if you agree to go out with me. I'd rather jump off a cliff. Wrong answer. And with that, he